Another book update for you. So I have been taking part in Wacky World of Lottie's 19 Books in 2019 challenge, and it's been a hot while since you've seen me. A hot while? No, that doesn't make sense. It's been a while since you've seen me do an update on this because May happened, basically. And as you may know, May is a difficult month for me, so I do apologise. So the last time you saw an update, I told you I was going to be reading Jodi Picoult's My Sister's Keeper. However, I didn't get to this as soon as I'd wanted to get to it, and what happened was May happened, and I didn't think that the subject matter of this book was going to be the best thing for me to read during the month of May. It is about two children. One is literally born just to be a donor for her sister, because her sister has leukemia, so her parents had another child in order to be a donor for their firstborn. And I just thought that the subject matter was just a little bit too sensitive for me to be reading in May. So I decided to actually put this back onto my to be read pile for this challenge. So I haven't read it. But maybe later on in the year I will come back to this, because then I won't be so sensitive. So yeah, this was for a book with punctuation in the title, because it has one of those upper commas. So yeah, so I haven't read that one, but what I did read because I wasn't sensitive to this one was this one. This is The Short Second Life of Bree, Tana, an Eclipse novella by Stephanie Meyer. So it is that one. And it is literally just a short novella. There's less than 200 pages in this. But I've been so busy reading everything else, I keep forgetting about my 19 books challenge. But I am getting around to them, I am. So this is basically the story of Bree, who was one of the newborns that was created for the big battle scene in Eclipse, which is the second of the Twilight films or books. The Stephanie Meyer writes in the beginning a little bit about why she decided to tell the story of Bree. And it's basically because she said, never figured out why some of my characters take on strong lives of their own, but I'm always happy when they do. Those characters are the most effortless to write, and so their stories are usually the ones that get finished. Bree is one of those characters, and she's the chief reason why this story is now in your hands, rather than lost in the maze of forgotten folders inside my computer. The two other reasons are named Diego and Fred. So she goes on to explain that when she was editing Eclipse, Bree's character just really stood out for her, and she just wanted to explore Bree's character that little bit more. And Fred and Diego, who I've just mentioned in that little bit that I read, are two other characters that are in this story. And basically it's about Bree just before the battle. So she's already created as a vampire, so we don't know her as a human, we only know her as a vampire. And she befriends one of the other newborns, a boy called Diego. They have a little bit of a romance, but it's not quite a romance because it doesn't really have a chance to go very far. As I say, it's less than 200 words. And Fred is another vampire, another newborn, who has the special ability that he can repel people. So he can make people who get too close to him, he can make them like gag and feel sick and feel nauseated. He's just repellent. He can repel people. That's his special power. And so Bree has been kind of using that to her advantage, in the fact that because she doesn't want to be bothered by the other vampires, because she likes to stick to the rules, she doesn't like to be as aggressive and nasty as they are, and she's noticed that the others kind of leave Fred alone, so she kind of just hovers around him, because she feels like if they can't get close to Fred, they can't get close to her, and they'll leave her alone. And Fred kind of takes to Bree as well, just a friendship, no romance involved there, but he does feel kind of protective over her as well. So it was a really good read, and I really did enjoy it. And it was nice to once it does go at the end, it does go where she does go into battle with the Cullens, and the part where they save her. This isn't I wouldn't call that a spoiler. I mean, everybody has read the Twilight books by now, surely, or seen the films, one or the other. So that's not a spoiler. And it goes into and up to her untimely end. I gave this a 2-star rating on Goodreads, but only because, yes, it was good, and I'm glad I kind of read it, but it's not a story that I felt like I was missing out having not read it before. Like, yes, Bree was one of those characters that you do remember from the books or the films, but you also kind of forgot about her character as well later on. You know, when people talk about the Eclipse, they don't talk about Bree's character. So I just felt like, I felt this was more a story that the author felt like she needed to write, but that we as a reader didn't necessarily need to read. So yes, I'm glad I read it. It has kind of made me want to try and pick up the Twilight books again, because I know a lot of people like find them problematic nowadays and very cheesy, but you know what, I like a bit of cheese. So yeah, it's nostalgic for me. You know how everybody's really nostalgic about Harry Potter? Twilight books is that for me, because I remember all the hype. I remember reading the books during the hype. The Hunger Games is another book series that I have nostalgic feelings about, because I was reading the books during the hype, whereas Harry Potter I kind of missed because I never read the books. I never read the books during the hype. I have only read 3 of the books so far. I'm very behind with the Harry Potter like fandom. So for me, Harry Potter for me isn't nostalgic like that. They're just good films. But Twilight for me is quite nostalgic, bit of a guilty pleasure, bit of cheese, and I like a bit of cheese. So yes, so it has made me kind of want to pick up the Twilight books. I won't buy them brand new. I wouldn't do that. But if I saw them secondhand, I might actually pick them up. So yeah, and Eclipse was my favourite film. Might have something to do with the fact that Jacob rips his shirt off at one point, and the actor whose name is missing from my head right now, but that actor is pretty handsome. Don't tell my husband I said that. Don't tell my husband. So yeah, I did enjoy reading it. If any of my friends would like to read this as well, if you're intrigued, let me know and I'll send it off to you, because we do like to share in amongst our friendly group. So that is that one. So the next book, and that fulfilled the challenge of to read a book with a name in the title. So we have Bree Tana, that's somebody's name. So that is that one done. So the next book I'm going to go on to fulfills the criteria, a book about true crime. And for that one, I had put aside this one, which is History's Worst Crimes and the People Who Solved Them by Bill Price. So it's literally just a book about multiple crimes. And what I really like about this is that, like, at the beginning of each, like, crime bit, because it's not really chapters, is it? At the beginning of each one, it tells you what the crime was, what year it happened, and the motivation. So this one, for example, is the Black Socks scandal, which happened in 1919, and the motivation was fraud. So it gives you lots of different motivations. And then it says location America, the perpetrators, 8 Chicago White Sox players and various gamblers and gangsters, and the outcome, no convictions, but the 8 players were banned from playing Major League Baseball for life. So yeah, and then it goes on to tell you what actually happened. So yeah, so I'm going to be really intrigued to read this, because I thought I could pick this up in between all my other books, or just when I'm like wanting to read and I've only got 5 minutes. I can pick up one of these, read a couple of pages and put it down again. This isn't like a full-on story or novel, so I can pick this up a lot quicker and hopefully get this finished pretty quickly so I can move on to the next book, because I think I'm going to have to really start focusing on doing one of these at least a month. Otherwise I'm never going to finish the challenge, and I really want to, because, well, I really want to. So yeah, so I am moving on to History's Worst Crimes and the People Who Solved Them by Bill Price. And yeah, so that is that. And My Sister's Keeper by Jodie P. Cole is going back into the to be read pile, because I haven't read that one. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.